YouTube every month, so can keep a record of the webinars. So yeah, we're 1 minute away from the start of the this month's webinar for Make It Happen Multifamily. Thanks all of you that are joining us live in not in person but live. And thank you for to all the people that are going to be watching it later on and on our YouTube channel. So this month I really wanted to make it a point to create an opportunity to get to know everyone, as well, introduce myself to everyone, and go ahead and tell you about my journey and how I got started. And it all came down to literally just a single duplex. That's the God's honest truth. So yeah, tonight we're going to talk about Lee Fjord's journey in real estate investing. And the idea is to be able to give everybody kind of an idea about where I started and how I got to over 1,100 apartments by now today. And I started and bought my first duplex in what was it? I want to call it June of 2017. So that's it. So tonight's subject that we're going to cover is from a duplex to 1,000 units in 7 years, how I scaled my real estate portfolio and changed my life, basically my story. So my name's Lee Fjord, and I started a little company called Green Forest Capital back in 2019 and founded our thought leadership platform, Make It Happen Multifamily, with the hopes to bring people into a community of investors who want to meet and gather with owners and other investors. Sorry, I was letting additional people in. Someone said to admit all. So there we go. We're gonna kick it off. So hey, my name's Lee. Started Making Up Multifamily or Green Forest Capital back in 2019. Now have just over 1,000 apartments owned. I'm a former property manager turned real estate investor. Honestly, I'm a failed real estate agent. I got my real estate license in 2012, and I ended up failing at being a real estate agent in Destin, Florida. Sat open houses for 6 months, waiting for someone to come in and say, I'll take it. And needless to say, no one ever did. So 6 months in, hadn't gotten paid a single dollar. And my broker comes to me and she says, hey, we have 20 houses under management. Would you like to take them over? I said, sure. Sounds like money. So got inspired by my clients and started investing in 2017, 5 years later, by buying a duplex here in St. Louis. All right. So yeah, this basically walks you through the process. It's like I was a property manager 2012, 2019. I worked at Marcus and Millichap selling multifamily and retail mixed use properties. Marcus and Millichap for 2 years. Prior, in the middle of all that, bought my first duplex, started scaling up, and now we are eyeing being vertically integrated. We actually started our very own property management company. So I'm a big believer in investing in multifamily because of its amazing ability to scale. So you can scale from a duplex to 1,000 units, like I did in 7 years, if that's your pathway. The real goal is to have one. So I bought, let's see, this is kind of there we go. We'll just move on to this one. So this is my first duplex. It's located at 2646 Geyer Avenue. When I first bought this four-family or duplex off of a foreclosure auction, sight unseen, for $32,000 cash, I bought the property, walked in the door, thinking I was going to sleep there that night. But in all reality, you could see blue sky from the basement. I was not going to be sleeping there. So I stepped in, got my hands dirty, and started, my own journey towards grit and learning. It took me a solid 12 months of my nights and weekends to go from a closed off space to an open kitchen, living, dining room space. An open bedroom that just had an opening from the bedroom out, to closing that all off and adding a closet and opening up the brick. So, I mean, $100,000 in, and my and of all my cash directly invested into this property. So it's all in at $130,000 cash. And thank God I rented both apartments for $850 per month, and it was worth 180 when we were done. So lessons learned. Honestly, I did not know what I was doing when it came to budgeting for major six-figure rehabs. Just to be honest, I did not know how to budget or account for my bookkeeping. Look at this kid. Do you think this kid knows how to do bookkeeping? No, he does not know how to do bookkeeping at all. Every trip to Home Depot was just, saved in a nice folder in my truck. Yeah, did everything myself. Did learn how to underwrite and build better reserves. Like that's a requirement. And I learned one new big lesson every time I turned around the corner. All right, so this is when I took my business to the next level. I started looking towards JV deals. So back in 2019, I bought my first commercial size real estate property. And this was what I started realizing. After that first duplex, I realized this is scalable, but it's scalable with partners. So I went out and I went in search of a partner. I built relationships, learned how to structure deals and raise capital, built systems and repeatable processes, focused on our investor experience and not just how large the deal was. And then we started to scale. So the step-by-step process was in that first year, it took me 18 months to get through a duplex. Then in the next year, I bought a 4-family and a single family house. That took me a whole nother year. So I went from 2 units in 12 months to now 7. So I was able to acquire and turn around at least 5 additional apartments. Then I did another single family house and then scaled into the 38 units and slowly but surely started scaling into larger deals and learning how to do syndications and BRRRR strategy single family houses. Just step by step by step, went from 2 to 7, 7 to 47. This is number of units. To in 2020, bought this property right here, the Reserve at Spanish Lake, 76 apartments, as well as a single family house. So I went from 47 to 124 by doing only 2 deals. One of them was a single family house, just a regular old BRRRR house. Then did another house, a 7-unit, a 272-unit, and a 70-unit apartment complex. It all started with this one. I'm going to tell you all about each one of these individually. But scaled into syndications and single-family houses, did another syndication and left this state of Missouri, started doing Arkansas deals, and then slowly but surely went out and expanded the portfolio into Northwest Arkansas. And then now we are mostly focused. We just purchased our last property in Warrensburg, Missouri. So that's going to be going into Kansas City. All right. So this is the 38 unit that we bought in 2019. So we purchased it for 1.3 million. $260,000 down. My partner and I split that 50-50. I love using little needle movers as kind of like little tricks of the trade in order to be able to manipulate and get the numbers as good in my favor as humanly possible. So little tricks like the seller credit are a really good way to be able to just reduce the dollars on day of close that you have to bring to the table. So the seller credit was a part of this purchase. So all we needed on day one was $205,000 in cash to close on a $1.3 million purchase. Wow. All right. And it ended up at the end of the day, it cash flowed $30,000 a year, which we would then and reinvested back into the property each and every year. So we would start with like brown walls and brown, cabinets and replace all the cabinets, do all the new floors in the wet areas and refinish the hardwoods and paint all the walls. That was it. It's a pretty simple turn. It really only cost us about $4,500 to do one of these, but the rents went from $400 to 580. And then eventually by the time we sold this property, we were renting these same apartments for I think 675. Oh, and ultimately this deal we sold in 2021 for 2.5 million. So we bought it for 1.3. We put about 250 of cash flows back into it, and at the end of the day we sold it for 2.5. So almost $1 million upside for my partner and I on this deal in 30 months. In 2021, started buying outside of the city of St. Louis. So this is our first deal that we bought outside of the greater city of St. Louis. It was 70 units. Cold call. My partner cold called the owner, convinced him to put the property under contract and sell it to us at, I think it was 33 a door for 1980s construction in a little town called Farmington, Missouri, where we took and we flipped the units, painted the cabinets, basically changed out all the fixtures and faucets, added new flooring in the wet areas in the living rooms, and we were going from 425 to 675 on a one bed. And we were going from 567 on one of the 2-bed, 1.5 bath townhouses to 825. So the rents on this property just became a rocket ship. It was great. We owned this property for 20 months. We bought it for 3.6. We put about 400 into it. We bought it for 2.6. Put about 400 into it, and then we sold it for 4.4. So that was over a 7-figure payday out of this deal, which we then utilized as a 1031 exchange for the other one. So we kind of skipped the order of these slides is a little out of whack by accident. But this was my very first syndication. It's a 70 unit in Spanish Lake, Missouri. It's called the Reserve at Spanish Lake. We bought this for 3.6. We've put about 400 into it, and we're under contract to sell it for 5 million, and it should be closing in the next few days. So over a 5-year period, turning 800,000 into a little over $1.8 million is pretty good. All right, the deal that changed it all. All right, so the deal that changed it all, the Park Hills portfolio. I had the opportunity. I was still a broker at Marcus & Millichap at the time. I had just closed on the 70 unit out in Farmington. And I was in a sandwich line in downtown Clayton, Missouri, where my office was when I was working at Marcus & Millichap. And just so happened that the guy in front of me in line was the broker from Bercadia. And I told him about Farmington, Stonebridge Meadows, the property I just told you about, buying it. And he and I said, "Hey, do you have anything else out there?" And he said, "Absolutely, I do. It's 272 units." And I was like, "Really?" And he told me the price. And the addresses, and gave me the basic information. And I went out, toured the property. I want to say the very next day. We had our offer to the seller the following day, and we were under LOI within 3 days about the deal. So that is, and why did I jump so quickly on this project? Well, it was 272 units for 58.8 a door, where the seller was providing 100% of the utilities in the rent. So they were just including it in the rent, even though the rents across the board were significantly lower than what we were currently getting at Stonebridge Meadows, a property that we owned 5 miles away. So at the end of the day, we knew we could get the rents. And we knew that tenants in the community were actually used to paying their own electric bill. So we closed on we went out, put the property under contract, realizing that there was so much value add on the asset. All we did at the renewal was ask the tenant to take over the electric bill, and it removed $85 on average per month per unit from the expense load. Which if you take $85 times 272 times 12 is $277,000 in just electric bills the seller was paying every year. So we just simply put that into the tenant's name at the renewal. That's it. No big crazy rent bump. Some people were paying an extra $20 for water sewer trash, so that's about it. But that alone at a 7 cap valuation increased the value of the property by almost $4 million. So that, along with some basic market renewal increases, and within 3 years, we were able to return 100% of the original invested capital back to our partners, and then keep the property. So this one has, and we have executed that business plan perfectly, to a T on timing, and we were able to return 100% of member capital in 40 months. We projected 36, so we were off by 4 months. So 2022 started expanding into Arkansas by purchasing 138 units in Hot Springs. It was the first time I bought a property outside of the state of Missouri. This was a very, very scary thing for me. So was brought this deal by another real estate investor who actually had the property under contract. He and I were part of the same networking group, and he had just finished due diligence and was hard on his earnest money by about $50,000. And he comes to me and he says, I just got awarded a bigger and better and newer deal in Nashville, and I don't have time to do both. So do you want to take this deal? I like this deal, but I can't, continue with this deal, with, a $7 million deal in Hot Springs, Arkansas, instead of a, $27 million deal in Nashville. So I said yes, ran through all the due diligence documents, put together the team, and got the deal closed in 60 days. And since then, we've raised the rents. We have completely renovated, call it 3/4 of the entire complex, as well as the entire exterior of the property. And that sign looks pretty good, don't it? But that property is 90% occupied and doing extremely well in Hot Springs. All right, once I've gotten out of my shell and decided that Arkansas, or at least outside of St. Louis, was doable, started looking at other markets in the general area and came across a deal in Fayetteville, Arkansas in 2023. So in 2023, closed on 128 units, 96 of which are townhomes in Fayetteville, Arkansas, 4 miles away from the University of Arkansas campus. It's a 1970s deal that was very well cared for. It had all new replacement windows and new roofs since then. So we were buying something that really needed mostly the aesthetic things on the interiors. So we went in, started, with the worst ones, and started just gutting out the kitchens and the bathrooms and starting essentially from scratch. So learned how to step by step in the process of going through each deal and scaling up larger. Got more and more comfortable with larger construction projects and the ability to be able to oversee them. And this was the largest construction project we had worked with in quite a while. All right, now you probably think it's all sunshines and rainbows. It's not. This is the deal that almost broke me. This is Phoenix Place, or it's called Arrow 2420 now. We went buck wild and went and bought a property in Atlanta, Georgia. And it was a project that literally, we almost lost control of this project. It went down to 65% occupied. Our expense load was out of this world high, but we stepped in. One of my business partners moved to the property, lived on site at the property for 12 solid straight months, and every day oversaw the construction project management of a $2.5 million project in a C-class neighborhood, and we completely turned it around. It's now at over 90% occupancy, has been completely renovated. We painted the entire exteriors, roofs replaced. We gated off the entire property, added safety and security lighting, and a $33,000 security system. This place got a full overhaul. And look it up. It's Arrow 2420 in East Point, Georgia. It's now the nicest property in East Point, Georgia. I can tell you that, bar none. So what have I learned along the way of getting to 1,000 doors? Is, building, you really need to focus on building a business and not just building yourself a job. So we now are bringing management in-house on most of our properties going forward. Started our own property management company in order to become vertically integrated and have actual control of all the expenses at our properties. This is going to be an integral part of our expansion and ability to continue to give above average results for our partners and investors. So yeah, that is going to be a huge part of the future for us. All right. Multifamily syndication, was a huge part of the scaling of my business and working with dozens and dozens and hundreds of investors and people of all sizes. So yeah, I love working with partners. This isn't just me. It is an entire team of general partners that I love doing business with and working with, as well as, partnerships with private investors as well. And anybody can do this. If I can, you can. So, anyone who's interested in investing in real estate should take into consideration investing with experienced, active real estate business professionals. This is myself and Samuel and Colby. This is all we do. We don't do anything else. There's no, we're not also dentists or uh, you know, airline pilots or anything like this. So, we are business owners who make our money work for us. We love working with people of all types. Tech professionals, W-2 paycheck earners, anyone who's interested in investing passively, definitely want to be able to have a conversation about what that looks like in the future. So through the entire process, there were a few lessons that I really wish I had learned faster or knew earlier, I should say. One of the main ones is the only way to scale is to be able to raise capital. So I wish I had put more effort towards raising capital earlier than I had in my investing career. And no, I don't wait for the perfect deal to come along in order to be able to pitch it or have conversations with my investors. I'm always reaching out, always having conversations, always creating opportunities to be able to build that relationship with with the people that I would honestly consider my friends. The other factor that I really wish I had taken advantage of earlier, it took me until 2017 to hire a mentor or a coach. Funny side story. The property that we just bought in Warrensburg was sold to me by my first real estate investing coach. The first guy I ever paid to coach me on how to to do my first syndication. He was where I wanted to be in 10 years. And he actually full circle sold me my most recent deal that we bought in July. So yeah, wish I'd gone out and gotten myself a mentor sooner, because I probably I'd be where he is right now had I done that back in 2012 when I really got started. Yeah, hiring and paying someone to help you avoid the mistakes and the pitfalls and teach you where the shortcuts are. Like if I go fishing, I like to hire a guide. They know where all the fish are. Isn't that the truth? And I guess I should have said that the webinar is a more interactive conversation that matter, but you can always jump in and say something, or it's not me just lecturing up here on the slideshow. Yeah. And I used to avoiding bad partnerships, making sure to vet who I choose to do business with. I think that, doing more of that would have put a few fewer gray hairs on my head over the last several years, let's just say. All right. What's the future for our business is we're expanding our investor base through education. Through the Make It Happen multifamily platform. We're scaling the responsibility with quality deals. So we're buying newer, nicer real estate as opposed to buying, 1960s, 1970s assets. We are focusing on 2000s or newer in Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Those are really the only markets we're really focusing on. Yeah, hosting events like our monthly live event right here in St. Louis, Tours and Pours. Who here's in St. Louis? Raise your hand. Yeah. All right. Well, if you're in St. Louis on a second Thursday of every month, we have Tours and Pours. Come on out and yeah, look forward to having you. So hosting events and continuing to lead from the front here at the Make It Happen multifamily community and Green Forest Capital. So if you have any questions for the group or myself, jump in. Now's the time to speak up and ask questions. I'd love to be able to help anyone that we can. Another big factor in our future for Green Forest Capital is we're expanding into additional asset classes. So we're moving into self-storage as well, building up our deal pipeline and looking for new, better and future opportunities. So yeah, who's got any questions from the audience?
So your next in-person event, that's gonna be November the second Tuesday?
It's on
Oh,
Thursday.
Thursday, sorry.
Yep, it's all right. So, no, it's let me pull it up here. Eventbrite. It'll tell me right now. I think it's the 14th. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because I really want to make it out there. I know we've connected before, but I'd like to meet you in person and thank you for your time today. It was honestly learning a lot.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's actually the 13th, and here, let me put a link to it in the chat. Copy link. There you go. Yeah, the
Got it.
second day of each month, so November 13th. And we're gonna be touring a 6 unit in Soulard and then going to, back to Schlafly, our normal tour spot. But yeah, come on out.
Nice. Yeah, definitely, definitely.
All right. No, we've got several people in the room. Anybody have any questions, comments,
So,
share a
what
little
are
piece of
the
their journey?
best strategies that you're using to find deals that size?
Broker relationships. Honestly, that's the trick. The trick is maintaining relationships with brokers so that when they have an opportunity come available, then you're not their first phone call. You are their first phone call sent, like you calling them since they under or found out about the deal. Does that make sense? Like, don't
Yeah, and
let them
so
one who's responsible for calling you to tell you about this new deal that they found, right? Be the one calling them, being like, "Hey, what deals did you find today?"
if you were to go back in time and like give yourself a blueprint to like build a really good relationship right away, what would you do?
Let's see. I would ask them a lot of questions about them. I would, do my best to be able to hear where they are in their life. And then I would try and do my best to not give advice in my first few interactions with someone. The last thing a new stranger wants to hear is, what you should do is it's really better to be like, how can I help you? Like, you should
Thank
sell
you.
me your property. You should sell me your listing, instead of how can I help you?
Hey Lee,
Stand.
I had a question. I've been to Tours of Pours before we met. You might not remember me, but
No, you.
I try to go when I can. But yeah, I love all the content you're putting out. This is awesome. Really appreciate that you're doing this for the community here. So one of the questions I had, so I'm relatively new. I got 5 properties. So started with the house hack and then four or no, 3 single families and got my first duplex, taking the normal trend, I guess, that you would say a lot of people do. I'm really starting to see, as my capital dwindles, my personal capital, I took all those on myself, really starting to see the value in partnerships, like clearly how you went from like 2 all the way up to 47 in 3 years. So I'm really looking to dive into more like JV partnerships, like trying to network a little bit more, find those partners. Question though, again, I noticed how you went from 2 to 7 and then to 47. So as someone
Yep.
in like my shoes and what I guess you used to be in, how would you structure partnerships early on having not like a ton of experience? Because like I can say for myself, I don't feel like totally comfortable like taking on like a ton of money and like going from 5, proper units now to, like 47.
Yeah. It sounds like you are a perfect place to go find yourself a partner who has more money than you do and
hmm
less time. Pick your place where you want to be. Like, do you want to be the guy finding the deals and swinging the hammers? You kind of have to be if
Right.
you don't have money or if you don't have the money.
Yeah.
Just clear. Like you're either one or the other. And the
hmm
goal is you don't want both. You don't want two just money guys because they'll just go run around, spend money and lose each other's money. And
hmm
you want two guys running around with a hammer because you're both trying to hit the same nail, if that makes sense,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to be the guy who finds the deals and hits the nails on the head, you need to go find a money guy, a money partner who can sign on debt, and who can provide maybe not the entire amount of equity. Like you should always expect to put some of your money in the deal, every single
Okay.
deal
Yep.
there's no such thing. Like honestly, if you're coming to me and you're like, I got no money, but I have this deal, I'll be like, great, I'll give you 10 grand, go away. Like,
hmm
but We're like, hey, I've got some money and I got a deal, but I don't have all the money and I need a guy who's got the experience and the ability to scale. Let's go, to the moon.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely where I'm at. I'd say that's my specialty is the underwriting and having the relationships with contractors. So,
So
yeah, I
find
guess
yourself like
you,
20.
how do you find those first partners then? Would you typically like present them with, like, I don't know, material showing like all the deals you've done, or like how did you approach them?
So you're going to want to be prepared with a couple things, your REO schedule and your PFS, your personal financial statement. Do you have one of those made up?
Nope.
Hit me with an email and I'll send you my template, man. It's easy. It's a spreadsheet. It's a 3-tab spreadsheet, and it tells you you're at the end all be all. It tells you your net worth, and it details out all of your real estate owned, including all the debt associated with it as well, all in one single place. It's the
Gotcha. Okay.
ability for you to be able to hand that to a bank and have them say, yes, here's $1 million.
Hmm.
So you need one of those, and you need and it also tells you like how much you have in all of your different asset class investments too, right?
Okay.
Takes into consideration every single piece and part of your financial self. At the end of the day,
Hmm.
everything lists everything, and
Gotcha.
your income, and where including the income that you make from your make from your rental properties. That's also accounted for in there. So
Hmm.
PFS, REO schedule, and then your schedule of cash flows. So it tells you where the money's coming from. If that
Okay.
makes
What is the REO schedule?
it is the list of properties you own and or have ever owned, and when you bought them, how much you paid for them, how much you owe on them,
Okay.
who you owe that money to, when's that loan coming due. Those are
Gotcha.
important things to have in like a single snapshot. So then you and your lender can look at that and be like, damn, Justin owes like $5 million and it's all come due in October of
Yeah.
wait, 25?
Uh-huh.
So tell me about this loan you have out there,
Yeah.
Justin. It's coming due next month.
Haven't used that much capital yet, so we're good there.
Yeah, it's important. To have that, your PFS. And then what you want to do is you want to go find some other guy whose PFS has like 3 more zeros bigger than your PFS.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the goal. Like honestly, like if you're yeah, if it seems like you're a deal finder and a hammer swinger, and that's just kind of how you have to be for the first several years.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was till, I mean, I guess I technically kind of still am that guy at the end of the day. But it's just finding those people, then building your puzzle and then carving out the pieces, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I think that definitely answers my question. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Then the other one I would say is look at your ideal business, what it looks like 5 years from now, and then build an organizational chart around it that literally tells you who works in what department or piece of your business that you own 5 years from now.
Okay.
It's an eye-opening process where you can literally go in and you can design out the future outlook of your entire business. Who oversees business development? You can put like a fake names on it, like Frank Smith, whatever. Doesn't matter. What does he do? He's my fractional CFO.
Okay.
You
Yeah, I've never thought to do that. I'll definitely have to, yeah, put that together.
Yeah, those are things that we do. I have a partner and we do these boot camps every once in a while. It's a lot of fun.
Hmm.
But we go through and we help people build out their PFSs right live in the room, as well as, go through personal, not personal, but go through like financial goals, personal financial goals, if that makes
Hmm.
sense. Yeah, yeah. It's a
Okay.
really powerful weekend.
Cool. All right. Yeah, thank
Cool.
you.
All right. Who else out there has any questions? And I'll see if I can track down that blank PFS. 1 second, I'll send you a link to it.
Okay. That'd be great.
Mm,
Who were
right,
who
we
were
got
some of the first capital investors that you were reaching out to? Was it like friends, family? Was it new people that you knew had money, and what were those conversations looking like?
Thanks, Ryan, for keeping the conversation alive.
I've had a few questions I've had built up that I've been wanting to ask you, so it works out.
Legitimately, my first investor was my stepmom. Yeah, she invested, I think, like 30 grand with me on a house that I bought in U City for 35 grand. I was like, I have 5 grand. Do you want to loan me 30? She was my first investor. Hard money lender is probably the better way to put it. And no Thanksgiving wasn't awkward. But yeah, she was my first investor, and we worked it out on a single piece of paper. It was as simple as that. But it got way more complicated after that. Like nowadays, the operating agreement that everybody signs and agrees to is like something crazy. It's like 66 pages or something. It's insane.
And what would you say is the biggest challenge for you? Is it getting people to trust you with their money, just trusting the whole process, or is it finding people with money?
Ooh, I mean, both are extremely, it's both are extremely important for the process. You know, obviously, if you want to find people, like if you don't have anybody come like listening to you, or if you have no strategy for creating new friendships and relationships, then you know you don't really even have a chance to be able to perform. But the performing is really important, making sure you do what you say you're going to do, and you know, responding in a timely manner and addressing things directly with people as opposed to you know, beating around the bush or something like that, or like, you know, hiding something, or communicating something late, like, oops, I forgot about that. You know, let's not forget about that.
And then just to follow up with that, what was your best lever to kind of showcase that to new people and find new people? Was it this networking group that you created, or did you have something else? Does that make sense?
I would say that it was the network of people that I've been spending all of my time with. So make it a point to go out to conferences and meetup groups, and not just the ones that I host every month here in St. Louis, but I go to probably six or more a year, where I go out with the specific objective of meeting new friends. And that's the way I look at it. I like to look at it as meeting new friends and potential business partners. I don't like to look at it as, you know, some dirty raising capital, you know, like convince them to do something that they're not interested in doing. That's not the point of all of it. The point is to make money with your friends, honestly. And I consider you one of them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey Lee, it's Bill. I've got a question real quick too.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I just joined about 10 minutes ago. You and I chatted a couple of years ago. And let me know this. You may have answered this because I missed most of the slides. I missed 95% of the slides. I think I saw last two. But I want to catch up with you offline to kind of talk through what deals you got in the pipeline that you're working with. Brian, I don't know you, but I met Lee a couple of years ago. I think he does very well what he just talked about, like that kind of building relationship with friends. And you know, I met him through a friend of mine that he'd done business with. So yeah, Lee, I just want to see like if I can catch up in the near future,
Yeah.
because just
I love it. Let me get the link. I'll put the link to my Calendly thing in the email right now, so then it's easy to find. And you know how to reach me. You got my cell phone number too, Bill. You can literally just shoot me a text. I'm always interested in talking about real estate.
yep, that's it.
It doesn't
And
have to
that
be,
that
it
was
doesn't even
like
have to be a scheduled phone call. Just, you
yeah,
know,
I did.
whenever you 20
I
minutes.
I don't know what was happening, but I was like, oh, I just happened to get on my email and I joined last minute. Was like, oh, Lee's online. So I've always found you to be very educational and very informative and very genuine. So that's a big deal.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unsolicited. That's
Lee's
Yeah.
been pretty awesome since I've met him too, so it's been pretty cool.
Ryan's a hardworking property manager here in St. Louis. He and a part owner of a pretty sizable deal now. What, 48 units? Isn't that right?
Yep. Yeah. So these are good too, because I'd like to go from 48 to 1,000 like you one day. So these are great to listen to.
You're right where I was in 2019, my friend. You know that you're a decade younger than when I was doing it. Good on you. Who's
Thank
who's
you.
next? Anything else? You know, any questions? Anything I can help with? Questions?
I feel I may, I don't know, I feel I may know just with probably the burr strategy, but how did you maintain and have capital to scale that quickly? Because it seemed like you had left your like, I don't know if it's like considered your W-2, but like you left that fairly early to pursue this early on. And again, that's where I feel I'm realizing, you know, I'm using a lot of personal capital up front prior to any partnership. So I'm just curious how you, yeah, just kept the capital. Like you said, you always put some money in the deal. So of course, like the larger the deal, the more money. So like, how do you keep maintaining and stacking that to put into more deals?
So I was 33 years old when I bought my first deal. I got started late. You know, 33 with recently leaving my job, but I worked really hard and saved a lot for
Okay.
many. This was a, you know, strategic time in my life
Mhm.
for moving to St. Louis. It wasn't just on a whim at the end of the day. You know,
Gotcha.
there was
Okay.
in there to be able to get to St. Louis and be able to start fresh.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And get my Missouri real estate license and then go work for a management company and then go, like kind of just walk the line. And every time I sold a deal, I put every dollar into my next deal. Every time I
Hmm.
sold a property with Marcus, I kept my expenses to literally zero. Like, and I'm not afraid to admit this, but when I moved from Florida to St. Louis, I moved from a golf course front house, with a screened in pool to living in my sister's garage. She had a studio apartment above her garage, and I moved in there and I lived there for 4 solid years.
Oh wow.
I
Okay.
was living there. She did not charge me any rent. It was
Hmm.
amazing. Yeah, and I buy her dinner often in
Yeah.
exchange for me living in her
Yeah.
garage over the garage apartment for 4 years.
Hmm.
So my expenses were basically nil, no wife, no
Hmm.
kids, focused on 100% focused on growth and finding good opportunities to buy and learning a lot of lessons and spending as little as I possibly could.
Gotcha.
Yeah, swinging hammers and
Okay.
getting gritty. I like to call it
Yeah.
getting gritty. So I was gritty for like a good several years.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
driving around in a van filled with tools for
Yeah.
multiple years, all around South City, St. Louis.
Uh-huh.
Just a van full of tools, picking up sweaty $20 bill rent payments on the
Yeah.
on on the 8th of the month.
Definitely learning that's what it takes early on. You gotta wear all the hats and work a lot.
You do, you
Yeah.
do. Yeah, I mean, but those same houses that I bought, back in 2020, or I have the same tenant living in the same house that I bought in 2020 for $20,000.
Hmm.
Sorry, 2019. Yeah, $20,000 house, put $20,000 into it, rented it for $800 a month, and her name's Gloria Williams, and she calls me baby, and that she tells me she loves me, and I tell her I love her too.
Yeah. That's
And
awesome.
anytime anything breaks, I go fix it myself over there, still for Gloria, because she's my second
Yeah.
or my third tenant I've
Uh,
ever had. And yeah, yeah. So you do build a relationship, but you can't go personally pick up, the rent payment in cash from 1,100 tenants. Now we collect it all via ACH online. Even
yeah. I hope
even
so.
management gets paid by ACH now.
Uh-huh. Cool. All right. Yeah. That answers that. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else? Stories to tell? Questions to ask?
Hey,
It's going to
Lee,
be a
it's
short.
here.
Hey,
Hey,
Vishwan, how are you?
good, how you doing?
Good.
What's your take on Oklahoma market?
I like Oklahoma City. I want to like Tulsa, but the problem with Tulsa is everything there's old. Like everything's 1970s in Tulsa or older. They just didn't build that much in like the 80s, 90s, so it's like an older market as far as vintage goes in Tulsa. But yeah, I like Oklahoma City. We look there a lot, and
Okay, I'm just curious.
oh yeah, yeah. With the world headquarters of Origin Property Management being Fayetteville, Arkansas, we're right there near Oklahoma City and ready to go over there and start taking over properties there tomorrow. Could go there easily tomorrow. Let me know if you get a good one.
Okay, on that subject, what other markets are you looking at? What other markets are good now in this climate?
Okay, so I was having a really nice conversation with a investor that I look up to. He's the guy who I want to be when I have like grandchildren, if that makes sense. So uh, he is diving deep into AI, and we spent probably an hour and a half talking about it the other afternoon. And where I'm focusing and liking is real estate that has close relationships with things that will never be able to be replaced. Irreplaceable locations, if that makes sense. Not like something that you can't just reproduce tomorrow. If that makes sense. Because people of the future, like in the 20 years from now, there'll be more and more people who work from home, who use their home as their entire environment, and they don't have to go and, travel constantly to their job every single day, if that makes sense. So yeah, better quality assets that are newer in nicer locations near irreplaceable things like colleges are one thing. Parks are another one to think about as well. Great quality school districts. That's where we're looking. I like the suburbs in irreplaceable locations in college towns. Like we just bought a great deal in Warrensburg, Missouri. That deal is going so well. Like so well. And we found some of the best people to come work with us as a part of our team there. We are so lucky. And you don't find people like this in big cities. People who show up 5 minutes early to work, and who are on salary and work till 7 o'clock p.m. at night because they know something's got to get done. You just don't find people like that in bigger cities anymore. So we like college towns and smaller municipalities, like the suburbs and the tertiary markets.
So when you say like irreplaceable locations, you're referring to like, places that could be jobs that would like office buildings, we've already kind of seen the last 5 years, or certain types of factories or
Really,
things like that.
yeah, not necessarily just jobs, but I think that, I think that access to public transportation, access to major cities, things to do. I think activities has a great role to play in where people choose to live in the future, in the next 20 years. Like, I don't think that it's based on how close I am to the nearest um, office building. I don't think that's really part of the decisions anymore, eventually.
Haley, at one of your tours and pours, you mentioned that in Arkansas, all the people who do business with Walmart have to have an office there. Does that mean a physical office with a person?
Yep.
So
So
do a lot of people,
Walmart.
are there a lot of shared workspaces like those franchise where you can go and rent an office to have a place there? Do you see that popping up, or?
I haven't looked into it. But I'm sure it is. Shared office space is becoming more and more useful. I mean, I know that I think my like EXP real estate license or membership gets me access to one of those, shared offices in like any major city across the country, and I've used it twice. I forget what it's called. But I mean, they're really convenient. Like if you want to have one conference room meeting a week, you can just schedule that one room once a week as opposed to having to have it, every single day, 5 days a week, or even 7 days a week, because you're even paying for it to be air conditioned when it's the weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I like shared office space. I don't know about it being in Northwest Arkansas, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a dozen of them there. Everything's it's a boom town.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else out there that I can answer questions, help in any
Hey,
way?
hi Lee, it's Wendy.
What's up, Wendy?
Hey. So I don't have a question. I'm in my car right now. Maybe I can start my camera. Hey, no, I just really wanted to tell um um everyone here that just what you said about um just finding ways to find good people. You have been one of those people to me, especially because um you welcome me to your property here in Atlanta, Arrow 24, and I've seen the full transformation, and that just really just it just tells me who you are, right? You are that type of person. So I just want to give you kudos for like being that leader in real estate, to be able to like provide more education and share your knowledge, because Lee has really been that person for me, especially for a group of people who will gather at Arrow 24 this weekend. So really it is just finding ways to add value and find the good people out there who
I love meeting new
um,
friends.
exactly. So both you and Samuel have been amazing. I I definitely appreciate everything that you're doing, especially hosting and transferring knowledge. But yes, it's all about building honest relationships, good relationships in the long run. Everything else will be a byproduct. But yeah, I just wanted to say that really quickly. Thank you for everything.
Oh, thank you, Wendy. I really appreciate all of our conversations we've always had or have had multiple times.
Yeah, yes.
And I'm excited for the event that you're doing out at Arrow. You'll have to tell us how it goes. Is there
Oh
a
yeah.
link that you can for people to RSVP to your live event where you're going to tour Aero 2420 in Atlanta.
I wanted to keep it intimate for the first tour
Oh,
this time around. Yes,
something about fun,
definitely
though.
expanding into the Spanish speaking community. So Samuel will have a lot of fun with a lot of investors who
He's
are
getting
looking
there.
to, yeah, with a lot of investors who are looking to get into this and just don't know where to get started, right? Um, so yeah, no, like doing more platforms like this really has helped a lot of us who know what it is to be in their shoes, right? When we're starting. So it's just helping each other out. And that's I think that's what it is. So I'm here, you know, I'm in Atlanta if you need anything, of course. And I'll definitely
Cool.
be up at the next tours and pours. So I hope to join you pretty soon.
Sweet. Yeah, it's on the 13th, November 13th. I'll put the
Yes.
link. Or actually, there's already one in the chat. But yeah, I'm excited to see you guys.
Awesome.
Come on up.
Yes, totally. Thank you, Lee.
All right. Any other friends out there in the group want to talk? Well, I guess at that point I'll go ahead and close it out. We're right at the top of the hour. We're keeping it to exactly 60 minutes. So I really like that. So yeah, thanks everybody for who was here live, and we do record these, so there will be a recording of this posted to our YouTube channel. If there's ever any way that I can help you, you know, whether that's investing passively or actively, you can use this QR code to schedule a call with me to be able to get to know me better, and vice versa. And I look forward to that. At the end of the day, you know, it's let's be friends and figure out how we can help each other grow. So I really appreciate everybody joining me here this evening. Thanks again, and we'll see you again next month. Where let's see, what are we doing next month? We got my events back to events. It's the second Tuesday of every month. Let's see, and it's yep, on November the 11th, it's how interest rates and loans shape real estate investments. Let me put a copy of that in the chat. So if you're able to join, please do. But yeah, look forward to meeting you if you take the opportunity to get to know me. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, Lee.